welcome back. We had some technical challenges right up until the second, but I'm here and you're here, and I am so very honored to have this time with you. Um, it's actually really important to me personally. And before we jump into the webinar, I want to explain to you why this particular journey with you is so important to me personally. And to do that, I'm going to need to take a step back. I've been teaching for 54 years and I've taught a lot of different subjects. And if you've traveled this journey with me, you know how many different subjects I've taught. And I've shared the information that, for example, I gained from native cultures, the Zulu, the Aborigine, the Maoris, and native cultures around the world, but also other information and wisdom I gained on this journey. But here's the thing. No matter what the topic was, all these different topics, everything, and I mean everything, was really focused on the same thing. And what that was to release inner blockages and limitations. And I've done that in different ways. I led Vision Quest, past life regression, all kinds of ways. But to release those things that aren't who you are, to step into a life that is authentic and meaningful. And you've probably heard me say it again and again. The soul loves the truth, but sometimes we just don't know what that truth is. So every course I've taught has been to that extent. And it's been an amazing journey. And for those of you that have walked alongside of me, I thank you. I thank you. But here's the thing, out of everything I've taught, everything I've learned during the journey of my life, perhaps the most powerful thing that I've encountered is the secret alchemy of clutter clearing. And you think, I know, how can that be? How can clutter clearing be more potent than shamanistic methods or past life regressions? It seems so mundane. But here's the truth. Clutter clearing can be mundane, but when it's done in a sacred way with focused intention, it can shift your life in almost miraculous ways. Now, there's a reason for this. The stuff around us reflects our beliefs about who we are and what we feel we deserve in life. Our identity is embedded in the things around us. And when we shift our identity through focused clutter clearing, not just moving stuff around, but clearing it with intent, it begins to shift those inner limitations that are holding us back. It can be a profound journey of the soul. It's a kind of a sacramony. That's sacred and ceremony together, a sacramony. It's a sacred ceremonies, and ceremonies work. If you traced your ancestry back, you will find that all of our ancestors did ceremonies. In fact, thousands of years ago, human beings were doing ceremonies. Now, why would ceremonies be around for so long, except that they work? Clutter clearing can be like magic. That's why I call it modern day alchemy. So I really thank you for being on this journey with me. It means so much to me. So, okay, let's jump into our webinar. And I want to review what's happened so far. You've gone into, with our video so far, you've gone into your bedroom, your closet, your bathroom. You've explored your relationships. So I just want to do a quick inner journey with you, just to notice the shifts. Sometimes things change, especially if they change over time, and we don't really realize they've changed. And in clutter clearing, it's important to acknowledge those shifts and celebrate them. Hey, and as you do that, as you have success, more success will come to you. And sometimes you think, but I only did a little bit, Denise. Well, single drops of water over time can wear their way through granite. So every step, every even tiny step, is going to make a difference. Also, before I jump into this process I'm going to do with you about how far you've come, if you haven't filled out the How Far You've Come questionnaire that Hey How sent you this morning, I suggest that you do that. It'll help you get a better idea of the shifts that are happening to you in just these 5 days. And here's the thing. Beneath the surface, powerful, positive shifts are occurring in accordance with your highest good. Now, your mind might be saying, well, I didn't do that much, and I didn't have that much time, and I missed this video. You can say, thank you, mind. I got it. And know that simply being on this journey, simply listening to me right now, means that on a soul level, you're here. And what that also means is as your intent has flowed forward, things are shifting beneath the surface. You hear me talk about a clutter clearing crisis. What is that? That's when things start to shift a lot, which is why I say go slowly with your slutter clearing. My tongue is not connected to my brain, so slutter. Um, your clutter clearing process. So if you notice you start clutter clearing and some emotion, some sadness comes up or some irritation, it could be that as you're shifting those things associated with your identity, it's shifting and opening the cracks, and the cracks are where the light gets in. Some of that old stuff that you've shoved down, it's coming to the surface. And you remember, I keep talking about cream coming to the surface to be skimmed off. So just say, hey, it's interesting. I started clutter clearing and I feel sad. Well, it's not new sadness, it's old sadness coming to the surface to be skimmed off. So let's do that quick inner journey just to see how far you've come. I'm going to put some music on here. And as you know, I love doing inner journeys because on the inner journey, you can quiet your mind and open your heart. You can quiet your mind and tap into that place inside of you that's real. Now, when we started this journey together, we moved into your bedroom. Take just a moment to go back in time to your bedroom before and your bedroom now. Imagine you're standing in your bedroom. How does it feel now? How did it feel then? Don't be concerned if it somehow doesn't feel better, it feels worse. Sometimes it's like a it's like a stagnant pool. The first 6 inches will look clear, but when you start to get fresh water going into that stagnant pool, it looks kind of murky for a while until that fresh, clean water clears out all the murk. So no matter what you're experiencing, do know this regarding the energy in your bedroom, it's shifting, it's changing. Maybe it feels a lot better. Wow, this feels so good. Acknowledge that. It's all a part of this heartfelt journey that we are on together. And know that in the days ahead, the bedroom offers sanctuary, relaxation, renewal, connecting to the realm of spirit in your dreams. And now move in to your closet before and your closet now. Some of you made great inroads in your closet. It's not easy, for our clothes represent who we want to be, who we are, and who we project ourselves into the world. As you worked with your closet, what shifted? What changed? How does it feel now? More important, how do you feel now? There's no right answers to these, just the truth. And the bathroom, where it was before, where it is now, how it feels to be in your bathroom. Fill these 3 rooms with light. Just visualize your bathroom, your closet, your bedroom, just vibrating with energy, life force energy that's nurturing to you and healing for you. We also talked about relationships. Relationships. What did you discover about your relationships? Are there some that you're going to diminish, some that you're going to kind of plump up? Maybe you discovered something you weren't consciously aware of before. It's good. And now just send energy to all your relations, all your relationships, going back in time and forward in time. That's good. No matter how little you did or how much you did, Remember, beneath the surface, powerful positive shifts are occurring, even now, in accordance with highest good. That is excellent. There we go. Turn off my music. Now, if you haven't already filled out the how far you've come questionnaire that Hay House sent you this morning, I suggest that you do that. It's a really good way to begin to garner what's happened so far. It's going to give you a better idea of the shifts that are happening in just these 5 days. Sometimes, as I said, it's kind of hard to see, so the workshops will help you. Also, you can download it below. It's always weird when people do this. It's like, I'm just pointing to my desk, but below this video below. So, anyway, let's get a quick overview of what we're going to do today. First, I'm going to start by talking about time clutter, how it affects you, how to begin to clear it, because it is a kind of clutter, a very powerful kind of clutter. We are going to go on an inner journey to begin to have a deeper understanding of that, how you work with time, because time, it's finite. Once it's gone, it's gone. So it's really a valuable journey to take to have a greater understanding of that. And then I'm going to give you some exciting things on how you can keep going on this journey and how you can take it deeper. After that, I'm going to walk you through an exercise to do after the webinar that's going to help you even gain a deeper understanding of time clutter, which is really important. And then after that, I'm going to answer your questions. So, hey, let's get going. Time clutter. You know, ultimately, clutter clearing at its heart is about getting clear on who you are and who you desire to be in the future. Who are you truly? Who are you? And it can propel you towards your desired future. Everything in clutter clearing, from the way I work with it, is to help you discover, who am I? What do I want to do with my remaining years? Who do I want to be in the future? What do I desire for the future? And how can I get there? So it's a soulful pursuit. So yesterday we talked about intangible clutter, focusing on relationships. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost everyone struggles with, myself included, and that's having enough time. Time is valuable because it's finite. As I said before, once it's gone, it cannot be recovered. Therefore, it is important to use our time wisely. And in today's world, as in the Western culture, we are overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed. Presumably you've had times of overwhelm. Some people, they don't know how not to be overwhelmed. In fact, I was talking to someone yesterday, and she felt that if she wasn't overwhelmed, she wasn't being productive. And if she wasn't being productive, she wasn't worthy. So that, and that's not uncommon. That's the way we're kind of programmed. Productivity equals worth, self-worth. But here's some interesting research. Those who struggle with time management, not only are they more likely to experience stress, well, duh, but sleep issues, diminished educational achievement has been associated with lack of good time management, anxiety, depression, and even mental health. So here's what's mind-boggling. As a culture, we seem to have a lot less time than our grandparents or great-grandparents had, yet we have all of these time-saving devices everywhere. And I, when I think about this, I think about the medicine wheel. Now, I've spent time in a lot of Native cultures, as I mentioned, and in Native cultures around the world, there's the understanding of life goes in circles. And here in North America, we have the idea of the medicine wheel, the wheel that heals. And the medicine wheel represents all aspects of life: spring, summer, winter, fall, rising sun, setting sun, birth, expansion, release, wintertime. Everything is in a cycle, and every part of it, the spring is equal to the fall, the summer is equal to the winter. Every part is equal in value. Every part is necessary to be in a balance. And there's the understanding that as human beings, we need to walk the circle, walk the spiral, have a sense of balance through this understanding of the various aspects of the medicine wheel. So in the medicine wheel, if you look at the seasons, there's new sprouts in the spring. They kind of grow in the summer. We harvest in the fall, and then the winter, the leaves fall away in this dark, and there's this time of renewal. And then once again, the spring. In our culture, we don't have that innate sense of understanding the sacred wheel. We live in summertime. Summertime is productivity, and we equate productivity with worth. And the more you work, the more you feel you're valuable. But it's not sustainable, and it doesn't feed the soul. So I was thinking about our modern conveniences, and I was comparing it to staying with my grandparents in Oklahoma when I was growing up. Now, I'm in my 70s, and my mother had kids really late. So that'll give you some context for what I'm going to tell you. So to wash the clothes, we didn't have a washing machine. We had washboards. It's a board with these little ribs on them. And we would wash the clothes like this with soap up and down those boards. And then we had a hand wringer, and then we'd take them and put them on the clothesline. If we wanted milk, well, we'd milk the cow, and there's a churn, and we'd make the butter. We'd made our own bread. For the vegetables, we grew them in the garden. For the eggs, we'd go out and get them from the chicken. We we worked hard. But then in the evening, I mean, we didn't have a refrigerator. We had a root cellar. We'd can the foods and put it down the root cellar. But in the evening, everybody rested. That's the winter part of the cycle. We have the seasonal cycle, but we have a cycle within the day. We would sit on the front porch with my grandparents in the summer, and we'd watch the heat lightning on the far horizon and just sit. Sometimes we'd just sit in silence. Sometimes someone would tell a story about the day. My uncles would mend the fences for the cattle. So they'd be out in the horses mending fences. They always had good stories to tell. But we relaxed, and we had time. And then on Sunday, I mean, we'd go to church, and then we just rested all day Sunday. We rested. And it was a more organic way to live. Now, we don't need to use a washboard. We have a washing machine. We don't need to put them out in the clothesline. We have a dryer. We have refrigeration. I used to make my own clothes. When I would be with my grandparents, you need a new dress, you sew it up yourself. We go to the store, we get cheap clothing, or I'm saying cheap because clothing, I think, is inexpensive for what it is. I have a robot vacuum cleaner. If we want food, we go to the store. So you would think with all these time-saving devices, we'd have so much more time. We have less time than our ancestors had. And I think it's this mindset of, you have to keep being productive. And time clutter is as valuable as physical clutter and relationship clutter. It's taking the time to understand, how am I using that time? How am I using my time? You have a limited amount of time for your life. And life is so precious. It is so precious. How do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend time that empowers you, activates your creativity, that allows you to connect more deeply to others? Or do you want to spend time getting sucked into the web or watching TV? And I'm just as guilty. During the pandemic, I started watching a lot of movies. And you know what? I haven't stopped. So, you just teach what you need to learn. This is what I need to learn too, is more time management. But to the extent that I really look at my time, and to the extent that I make choices and clear out time clutter, is to the extent that I feel this serene relaxation of the soul. And there's choices too. Let's say a friend wants you to help her move when it comes to time. And you love your friend, you love hanging out with her. You do not like moving, you do not like picking up boxes, but you kind of weigh it out, boxes, my love of my friend, my joy, and like, hey, there's a lot more joy there. So you make a choice. So usually it's not always clear cut, but the choice is, you know what? I love my friend. I love hanging out. We're going to celebrate like crazy when this move is done. I'm going to do it. But let's say you've been asked to be on the Parent-Teacher Association for your school, and you feel an obligation, you feel guilty because it's something you should do. It doesn't give you any joy. Um, but but you're helping the school. So again, balancing up, helping the school, guilt, terrible obligation. Oh, that probably would be something that you could choose to step away from in understanding managing your time. So we're going to be doing a guided meditation in a little bit, but Here's what to think about. What is actually worth your time? Is this worth my time? It's a limited commodity in my life. Is this worth my time? Ask yourself that question. Maybe there's some activities you need to cut out. Maybe you need to create some boundaries. And totally, it's kind of on the subject, but I thought this was interesting. For people with a lot of stuff, one of the big time takers is trying to find things. Did you know over a lifetime, we spend 6.5 months of our lives. Now, that's not 9 to 5. That is the 24 hours a day for 6.5 months looking for stuff. And there's a lot of anxiety associated with not finding stuff. So, what could you do with that 6.5 months? Um, I, I would tend to say there's a lot of really cool things you can do with that 6.5 months. And I was thinking about this morning because there are two different things I was looking for. And I'm like, oh my gosh, get with the picture, Denise. So I'm going to take you on an inner journey regarding time. And I don't understand this. Oh, and then later I'm going to give you a process that you can do with time that's really good. So here we go. Another inner journey. And I said, I love doing inner journeys. It will take you to that place inside that knows the truth, not your mind, not your thoughts, not your beliefs, not what other people have told you, but the truth. So here's some more music. Here we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. May the Creator within all things bring blessings and peace. Guides, guardians, angels, I ask for your guidance and send peace. To begin this inner journey, take a few very deep and full breaths. And with each exhalation, feel yourself relaxing, just letting go, just letting go. All is well. As you sink into that deep, silent, sacred place deep within you, letting go, relaxing. You are safe. You are so safe. This is true. In your imagination now, travel back to the beginning of this day when you woke up, what you did, just everything you did between when you woke up and being here with me right now. Take a look at how you used your time. Was it a good use of your time? Did the way you used your time nurture you, strengthen you, allow you to be more deeply connected to the forces of the universe? Or diminish you, or deaden you, or numb you? How'd you use your time? Let it all go, let it all go. And go back to yesterday. Just scan. You can scan from when you went to bed all the way back to when you woke up, or when you woke up till you went to bed. But scanning with the intent to understanding the way you used your time. Those in the realm of spirit understand how incredibly precious this life is. It is indeed precious. Your time is so precious. Just scanning yesterday. How did you use your time? Sometimes it's the physical use of the time. Sometimes it's an emotional use. Did you spend time yesterday being angry or irritated or upset? It's not bad. It's not good. It's just understanding. Maybe that was valuable for you just to get it out. And maybe there was another way that you could use that same amount of time. Did you do things yesterday that were an obligation, or you did because you'd feel guilty not to, but it was disempowering? Did you use your time for joy, for love, creativity? None of this is bad or good. It's just beginning to understand the truth of how you use your time, and then beginning to look and see if there's other ways you want to use your time. So now, scan your entire week. Just scan your week. You can imagine you're floating above your week, looking down, or you can run it back and forth like Charlie Chaplin, or just gain a kind of an intuitive sense of how you used your time in the last 7 days. That's excellent. And now, infusing and calling upon the spirit of time, for there is indeed in the realm of spirit a spirit of time, that you use your time wisely, that the things you do in your time are empowering and create joy and comfort and relaxation. Time. That's excellent. And gently and easily begin bringing yourself back, knowing that in the future and now, more and more, you use your time wisely and time expands for you in your life. It's a mystical understanding, but you can indeed stretch time. May it be. Okay, here we go. So, I love that. I go on those journeys too. Now, we're almost at the part of the webinar where I tell you how to enter for a chance for this very small group webinar to help you understand your unique clutter in your home and your life. And when I mean small, it's just 12. So, good number, isn't it? But before that, I want to tell you how to keep this clutter clearing journey going. And I have two online courses that I'm really excited about that cover how to clear clutter. Both of them will take you room by room through your house, inner journeys, tips, techniques for clearing the clutter and bringing in some feng shui information. They both talk about energy clearing, which is something I really haven't addressed, space clearing, which is so powerful. Space clearing, just briefly, because it jumped into my head. There was a space clearing is, it's smudging or feathering. That's what it is. If you're like, what is space clearing? When I actually initiated that term like jillion years ago, and I thought it's not going to catch on because it sounds like you're out in space with a broom, but it did catch on. And now there's a lot of books, including a couple of mine called Space Clearing. But there was Barbara Corcoran, who was one of the top realtors in New York, had a high-end building, was not selling. So someone said, well, you should get it space cleared. And she's like, I think that's kind of weird, but hey, it's not selling. So she hired a space clearer to go into this huge building. This was written up in the New York Times and cleared it. And then the building just sold. And it was like amazing. She goes, this is so amazing. So she and other realtors, especially realtors here in California, they hire space clearers for the simple reason is it works. So you're going to be learning about space clearing as well, how you can shift the energy in your home using this very powerful and ancient technique. One course is called the Ultimate Clutter Clearing Journey, and this is for people that want to do the work for themselves. The other course is called the Certified Clutter Coach. This is a professional practitioner course for those of you that not only just do it for yourselves, want to do it for yourselves, but also to help other people. Now you can frame your certificate, put it on the wall, and get going when you complete the course. And you can work either professionally or just one-on-one with a friend or a family member. No matter how you use that information, you are going to be amazed at the power that it has to shift people's life. Some people take the certification course. They say, well, I wanted the information. I'm not quite ready to do it. And then at the time of retirement, people say, you know what? I'm going to take this up as a second profession and have loved it. I have to say that for me, one of the most inspiring things when I peruse my long life is when I have that time with a client. And it's like I am not perfect by any means, but doing this work is not about being perfect. I am not clutter clearing, I'm not perfect, but it's about being present. And when you have that client there and you're sitting and you are present with this other human being, I mean, what else is there to do on the planet except being present with another in this kind of sphere of sacred space? And you're listening to your client talking about his or her dreams and what's blocking them and what they desire for the future. And then you use this work, clutter clearing, as a coach. So I've trained coaches, I'm a coach, but when I combine coaching with clutter clearing, because I talked about our identity gets embedded in our stuff. It's who we think we are subconsciously. And when you were able to use that understanding of coaching, which I teach you in this course, and then combine it with, what does this mean to you? How does this make you feel when you hold this object? When you work with your client with the stuff in their house in conjunction with the coaching, miracles happen. And to me, what I love more than anything else in the world is in regards to another person I'm working with, where there was darkness, there's light. Something that they've been carting around for decades, all of a sudden is gone. Something that they hadn't been able to heal, got healed. That juices me like nothing else, which is why I'm so excited to share this certification course with you. Wasn't going to mention this, but I am. I have a lot fewer years ahead of me than behind me, and for a lot of reasons, besides being kind of old. And I am right now, I want what I've learned over a lifetime. I want to share it. I want it to go beyond me. I want what I've gained over my life. And some of those lessons were really hard, but I want to pass it on. And for me, you're my legacy. You are those who are going to take this understanding of how this seemingly mundane stuff like clutter clearing can actually be the sacred, hallowed, holy pathway to wholeness. Some of those things I learned did not come easy. I know when I was with the Aborigines, instead of a cave going the side of a mountain, it was a cave straight down, and I'm way down at the bottom of this cave in the darkness that is kind of dripping fluid. This was in the outback, to gain a deeper understanding of that particular culture. It was scary. I survived it. There was a point where I was going to have to be cut for the scars and ash put in for the initiation, and that didn't happen, but I was willing for it to happen. The time when I was with Apache, and he said, we have to show that you're a truth sayer. And he pulled out these burning herbs. You can see the little embers on top. And he said, if I can put this out in your tongue and you don't get a burn, you are a truth sayer. Now, Now, if someone said that, I'm like, are you out of your mind? I tell the truth. I do not need burning herbs to prove it, but I wasn't that advanced. So he burned on my tongue. It actually, I didn't get any blisters. So he said, oh, well, you're a truth sayer. So some of the lessons I learned did not come easy, but I want to share it. I want you to pick up the mantle and go forward. I want you to bring light and love and joy into people's lives. And even people that don't even know they were missing it, when that finally comes, it's like, oh my God, I had no idea how different my life could be. So I know I got carried away, but I am kind of carried away by this certification course. So when you become certified professional, as I said, you might just use it for others in the beginning, and just know that if you ever wanted it, use it for a profession, you have your certificate. I was talking to a friend, and a few years ago, she took my certification course, and she said, Denise, I really didn't want to do it for a living. I wanted to learn more. And she said, it was really amazing. And she said, and I used it, and it was so cool. Now, her mom lived in a 4,000 square foot home. And not only did her mom have a lot of attachments to stuff, her dad had died a few years before. So she had all of her dad's stuff was in the house, and her grandparents' stuff was all in the house. So it was just like this 4,000 feet stuff, but her mom was attached to every single thing. She was completely attached to it. And she said, I don't know what to do. But she said, I took this course. And when you talked about some strategies to use with clients, she said, I use those exact strategies with my mom. And she said, I'm happy to say that it was easy. I expected it was going to be a battle. It was going to be hard. It was going to be stressful for everybody. And she said it was so easy. And she said, my mom now lives in a 1,500-foot square home, and she feels amazing. She feels lighter. It's like it started a whole new cycle in life. So that's someone who wasn't doing it professionally, but was able to make a difference in her mom's life through the information she gained. So when I first started teaching clutter clearance certification course, I had a student who graduated, and she called me and she was so excited. She goes, Denise, I got the most amazing job. And I said, what is it? She goes, it's this woman, she's in her 50s and she's never married and doesn't have kids. And she said she just wants a reboot in life. So she has hired me to come in to her home to go through every single thing and actually move in with her. I'm like, okay, little boundary issue, but I was like, okay. She worked with this woman for a month because she had a lot of stuff. And then the woman had her go to she had a vacation house in New Mexico. So she went to there, and they cleared for a few more weeks. And the woman felt it was a lot of money, but that she was paying to this clutter clearer. But she said the woman felt like it was a whole new lease on life. Everything shifted. She gained an understanding of who she had been, what those issues had been in the past, of who she wanted to be, and it changed everything. So that's very unusual. You get someone to work with them for 6 weeks, but there's a whole range of things that you can do once you get that certification. But the most important thing is just being present with another human being. You do not need to be perfect. You do need to be present. And in that being present and listening, sometimes things start to shift in that person's life before you've even moved one thing, because they feel safe, they feel understood, they feel not judged, they feel like, okay, I can do this. That's what you can offer to another. Now, I know there are some people here that are already professional organizers, and I've heard that you're here, and I'm really honored and delighted that you're here. And if you do take this course, now you already know all about professional organizing, but it could be that the information in this course can help you go even deeper with your clients, because it focuses on energy and it helps your client understand themselves on an even deeper level. And maybe you're already doing that, but if not, that might be something to consider. It will allow your clients to begin to see their clutter in a new way. For example, if you have a client, you get them all organized, and a week later, it's a big mess again. You help them get it organized, and it's a big mess again. Chances are there are some underlying issues. Maybe they didn't feel safe as a child, so they need to have all of that around them as a buffer. There's a lot of reasons why people have clutter, but one of the things we do in this professional certification course is train people how to understand in a very gentle, loving, non-judgmental way what those issues are and how your client can adjust them. And anyway, I'm so delighted you're here. And if you join us for this clutter certification course, it would be a joy to have you. So in the professional certification course, you get a starter kit. You learn how to work professionally. You learn how to work all the rooms, even your car. There's one of the things I'm really proud of in this course is a very in-depth assessment. You can use this for yourself, but you can use this for your clients. It's so good. And it's a really good starting point for those conversations. And it'll also give you a deeper sense of where to start with a clutter clearing and how to do it. And there's information on how to interact, how to coach your clients. This is actually a coaching certificate. It's called Clutter Clearing Coach. That's what you're doing. You're also going to learn how to take people on an inner journey. And you've done these inner journeys with me. They don't have to be long. They don't even have to be spiritual. It's just a way to get a deeper understanding of what's going on here. As you hold this object, how does it make you feel? Their eyes are closed. Do you feel your energy going up, going down, or is it neutral? What's the emotional feeling you're having? Any images from the past that are coming up? So it's a starting point. And really talking about that profound healing journey. Now, there is a bonus package. I'm not going to talk about it here. I think, let's see, somewhere there's a link. I should have this here. Anyway, there's a link where you can find out about it. And we also have, this is, whoa, the heart of my hearts. We have a Facebook, and I'm sorry, but I think there's maybe a link in the comments. Is this a good place to put my fingers down? But what I love is our Facebook community. Yeah, I love it. Now, there's a lot of professional clutter coaches there, and they get so much joy about supporting you on your journey, helping you understand what the next step is. It is so supportive and so loving. And once you sign up for the certification course, you go there and you can say, hey, hi, I'm here. And everyone's like, hey, we're glad to have you here. And it's, it takes a village. You have a whole village there supporting you on that journey with your own clutter as well as working with your clients. So anyway, both of these courses are on sale. Be sure to check them out. All right, here's something that I find really valuable in my life in regards to time. And it's something that you might find valuable as well. And it's what I call the pie chart process. So take an average 24 hours of your life and write down all your activities. So you have 24 hours. This is like around like a pie. And so then write down maybe on the right side, you write down all your activities. Okay, I took a bath. I brushed my teeth. I made breakfast and ate breakfast. I took a walk. Whatever you did, I drove to work. So you take a look at all of that and then assign about approximately how many minutes, and then make your pie chart and notice where the bulk of your time is. And look to see the activities that brought you joy, the activities that were boring and mundane, the activities that depleted you. And you could even use coloring. Oh, if it inspired me, it's beautiful, bright red. If it depleted me, oh, it's gray. Do something like that. So you can actually have a visual representation of how you use your time. Now, I'm thinking this isn't in the notes, but I'm thinking there should be some information for this below. I think I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'm just assume that there's a link for this process, but if not, I'm telling you about it. You can remember it. So then take a look. Now say that you look and you are spending 3 hours a day commuting, hour and a half each way. And it's in traffic and you don't like it and you don't enjoy driving, but you say, Denise, that's my job. That's what I have to do. But when you look, it's gray. That commute time is gray. So this is time that you might say you have to do it, but you can also begin to look at some strategies. Maybe you play some better music. Maybe you have essential oils. Maybe you listen to TED Talks and you get inspired. Maybe you find someone to carpool with. So they carpool half the time, you car half the time. But begin to come up with some strategies so that those times in your time chart that are not enjoyable, that you can make them more pleasant. You can make them so that it diminishes that drop in your energy. Because if you have a pie chart that's mostly gray, this does not speak well for your future. This does not speak well for, I don't know, for who it is you desire to be in the future. So just consider making the process pie chart. So now, questions and answers. Okay, I've got some, and I've got some written out here too that came in later. So Karen wants to know, is there a specific amount of time to complete the certification course? No, there is not, Karen. Some people are like gung ho and they just power through it. And actually, that probably is not my favorite way for someone to go through the course. And I know that works. We're all different. That works for some people. They just want to just plow through. I think it's better to take your time, absorb the information, practice it, notice it, be conscious. So, and given, and some people, they just don't have time right now, but they might in the future, they might during the summer. So it is there. I've had people that say it took them 4 years, like, because I get their license agreement and I get to send them out and say, you did it, you're certified now, you are a professional clutter coach. And so, recently I got one, she said it took me 4 years, but it was so worth it because over those 4 years, my whole life changed. So there's no specific amount of time. Take the amount of time that you need. And if you find that you get stuck on going forward, do spend time in the Facebook group because people say, hey, you got this, girl, or, you can do this, or we've got your back, or any blockages will help you with it. So I love that. And number 2 question, do you work with feng shui and clutter clearing? Yes, I do. I mentioned that I wrote the second book in English on feng shui. Times I was on the Oprah show, it was for my feng shui work. I love feng shui, but here, in fact, there was another question. Says here, a later question said, do you have to believe in feng shui for it to work? Here's the thing about feng shui. It absolutely works. It works, which is why I love it. And there's a lot of different systems. So part of it is belief. She said you have to believe in it. Part of it is belief. And if you are working with feng shui, I suggest choosing one system because if you start going to all of them, it gets really confusing. But choose one system and follow that. But also, from my perspective, some of it is superstition, but some of it is just common sense. If you go into a restaurant, don't you prefer to have a wall at your back than have your back to the front door? That's feng shui. Feng shui, we talk about having the mountain at the back. Some of it makes sense. So having at the back of your house, having something that makes it feel like you're sitting in the restaurant with the back behind you. So some of it is common sense, some of it is universal around the world. I remember I was spending some time in Brazil with some Brazilian farmers, and I was talking about feng shui, and I just come from Hong Kong when I was there. And one of the farmers said, well, we have something like that. And I said, what's that? And he goes, well, for the Brazilian farmers, you never should be able to open the front door and see out the back door or see out the back. Well, that's feng shui. They call it energy in, energy out. Opportunities come, but they leave. Open the front door, you can see out through into the back. The thing about feng shui is there's always cures, and I love that. So you do not need feng shui to do clutter clearing. I think it's a really valuable connection to it. I have a certification course called Interior Alignment that includes feng shui and space clearing and clutter clearing and healthy home, all kinds of stuff. And you can just get certified in clutter clearing, and that can be enough. How long does it take to get results from clutter clearing? Sometimes it's immediate. You're with your client and you move that like, oh my God, I had no idea how that was weighing me down. I had no idea how those negative memories associated with that item were affecting me. Sometimes it is instant. And sometimes it takes a while to integrate. So sometimes it can take a few days, a few weeks, rarely, but sometimes even a few months. People say, you know what? I didn't really notice anything shifting, but now as I look back 3 months ago, my life is so different. Let's see. I need advice. Another question. I need advice on how to change my thinking of having to have everything go to the perfect place or the perfect person. even though I'm ready to release it, I struggle because I'm one of those people who humanizes inanimate objects. One of my favorite books is called The Secret Life of Inanimate Objects. I love that book. Well, here's what I would suggest to you. And I understand because, when I give things away, I want to make sure that person's going to appreciate it as much as me, or they're going to know how valuable that thing is. So I get it because I do that too. I humanize inanimate objects. But one of the things that's helped me as I think about things have their own journey too. So if you just think, oh, this has this object that I've humanized, it has its journey too. And so if you think that you don't know, maybe you have that old typewriter and you think, oh, if I just give it to Goodwill, I'm not honoring it. I had it in high school and through college, and you can tell how old I am when I talk about typewriters, but instead of computers. But let's say it goes to the Goodwill and you don't know who's going to get it, but let's imagine it was a young student who family didn't have much money, and she really wanted to type out her assignments, but they didn't have money for a computer. But here was this typewriter. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like such a gift. You don't know what their story is, but if you hold the intent that they have their own journey too, that's so valuable. So, oh, I have some more questions, but before that, something I didn't want to forget. Um, and let's see if I can see this here. Okay, I was asked to mention, it comes out next week. It is, for those of you who want to really go deeper on your clutter clearing journey, it's can you see that? The Sacred Clutter Clearing Journal, the Sacred Clutter Clearing Journal. And it is for sale now, pre-order. It comes out next week. Obviously, I have my copy ahead of time. I got so excited when I saw it. So that is there. Also, people want to know how to stay in touch with me. Really, the best place to stay in touch with me is my public Facebook page. People say, well, can I be your friend? I've got 30 people on my Facebook friend. You have to have a friend place to have a public. In 10 years, maybe I've made 4 posts. I never go there. My family, my intimate family, they all know to reach me on my public Facebook page. I pretty much read every single comment. So that's a great place. Also, I have what's called the Mystic Cafe community, where we are just kind of launching that next month. And it's kind of to see me through the rest of my life, people to really work with on an intimate way. So that's how to stay in touch with me. And that is the Sacred Clutter Clearing Journal. I'm kind of proud of it. Okay, other questions we have here. Someone says, in my bedroom, I have an angel. Is that like a single person? Because I talked about if you want a relationship, don't have a whole bunch of, single women. It's mostly women who've contacted me. So I love all those hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Um, no, it's an angel, for gosh sakes. It's you can have as many angels as you want. Like, yeah, call in all angels. I believe in angels. I've had some profound, oh, I love that. Let's see. Someone said, okay, I'm gonna quit laughing. All right. Someone said, I'm moving, and they talked about their stuff. And here's what I suggest if you move. You don't know what you're going to need necessarily in your new place. And even though it's kind of expensive, take your old stuff that you're not sure about, put it in a storage unit, wait till you've moved into your new house, and then you can kind of say, you know what, this works, this doesn't. Because otherwise, sometimes if you give away too much too fast, you can be like, oh, I really could have used that in my new house. So take your time. What is this? Oh, this person said, I love this, but she said, I'm going really slow. I'm taking a step at a time. I'm going slow and focusing. Is this right? It is absolutely right. That is the way to do it. Take every step will get you closer. Tiny steps will get you there. This says, I want a breakthrough. Any tips? I want a breakthrough. Any tips? Yes. When you close your eyes and you feel the sense of that breakthrough, she said, my life, I feel stagnant. I want a breakthrough. What is the energy of breakthrough for you? What is the color? What is the emotion? What is the feeling? So as you get a sense, maybe for me, breakthrough, it's red, it's yellow, it's triangles, it's dragons flying up. I mean, I have all these images. It's the walls breaking down. So you find what you associate with the word breakthrough and then put that in your house. For me, it'd be like a rising dragon, flaming fire. So then I would put an image, a big image of a dragon that I would see again and again, holding the intent, the energy of breakthrough. I would put on breakthrough music, break on through to the other side. That for me is breakthrough music. Surround yourself with metaphors of breakthrough. And often, as you do that, it begins to shift your mindset and clear any clutter that feels stagnant to you. So, that is my best advice. We are right up at the end of our webinar. I have loved, loved, loved having this time with you. I I look forward to seeing you in the ultimate clutter clearing and the professional clutter clearing. And on Facebook, I look forward to seeing you in my dreams. I am so deeply honored to you for being here. I'm honored to the Hay House staff for all the work they were doing in the background, which was a lot. And thank you for all the hearts. Oh, you have made my day. You've completely made my day. From my heart to your heart, always, always, and forever. Our cosmic shoelaces are tied, my fellow soul travelers. Bye bye now.